If you replay conversations in your head, analyze everything you said, and worry you did something wrong, there's a reason for that. And it's not because you're broken. What overthinking actually is. Overthinking isn't overreacting. It's pattern scanning. Let's talk about where it comes from. It comes from being involved or living in unpredictable environments when you didn't know whether you were going to get a hug or whether you were going to be disciplined or potentially yelled at or accused of something that you didn't do. Needing to read the room. You look at your caregivers and analyze them in a split second, whether they were the happy caregiver that day, whether they were the mad caregiver that day, whether they were the overwhelmed caregiver that day, whether they didn't want you to touch them, whether they didn't want you to bother them, whether they were stressed. You knew all those cues based on footsteps. You knew that maybe you might have to walk on eggshells that day. And also, most importantly, avoiding conflict. Because you knew if you could avoid conflict, you could potentially avoid punishment or disappointment or any number of consequences that may have come your way. You learned to anticipate problems before they happened. And for a lot of people who've grown up in traumatic environments, you relate to this. You lived this. You know this. This isn't a pretty story. It's not a happy story. It's not a heartwarming story. But it's a story that's filled with truth. It's a story filled with coping mechanisms to survive. And in some ways, I dare say that those skills are important. Those skills are necessary. It allows us to have an intuition. So it's not all bad. I mean, it's painful and it hurts to think about it. And it is unfortunate that we continue to deal with it today at however age we are. Because once you pick up habits like that and survival habits and coping mechanisms to survive, they don't go away. They stay with you. And people use the word overthinking like it's a curse. It kind of is a curse in some ways. Someone can say something completely innocent to you and you wonder, oh my goodness, is that what they really mean, or did they mean something mean and I'm just missing it? I don't know how many of you relate to that. I know I do. Why it feels constant. Your brain is trying to protect you. And it's protecting you with a well-worn neural pathway that you've already have a well-trodden path to and from. It's looking for mistakes. It's trying to fix outcomes to save us from heartache, to save us from pain, to keep us from overthinking so much. But we have such a well-worn path that we're never going to stop overthinking. What if? Like it's always, I don't know how many of you relate to this, but it seems like it's always worst case scenarios. What if people hate me? What if everyone hates me? What if I'm stupid? Like what if I'm doing things wrong? Like what if all my friends secretly hate me? What if no one likes me at all? You know, you think about those things. Let's talk about the hidden cost of this. The hidden cost of all of these things, first of all, is exhaustion. How many of you can relate to 2, 3 in the morning is when you immediately rise up because you feel you forgot something? You have this track running in your mind. What did you forget right now? What did you forget? What did you forget? Oh my goodness, I got this big long to-do list. What am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about this? Then the next thing that comes is self-doubt. Do you really think that you're doing the right thing? Are you sure? Are you capable? Are you prepared? Because if you're not prepared and if you're not even over-prepared, then you're probably going to fail and you're going to embarrass yourself and people are going to laugh at you and you might even lose your job and you might even have people that don't want to be friends with you anymore because you embarrass them, like secondhand embarrassment. It just goes and goes and goes and goes. And second guessing everything. Oh my goodness, I said that. I sound so awkward. I sound so weird. Oh my goodness, like, why did I say that like that? There's two ways to take what I just said, and one of them I think was mean, and then the other one wasn't, and I hope that they took the one that was nice, not the mean one, because, and then you say to somebody, and if there's two ways to take what I just said, one is nice and one is mean, then I meant the one that was like nice, right? Because I'm not a person like a gotcha person. And they're like, oh yeah, what does the second one mean? It's like, oh, never mind. And here's the worst thing of all. You don't trust yourself because you were trained not to. You were trained based on inconsistency. One day was rainbows and roses. The next day were storm clouds and thunder and lightning. How does someone trust in that scenario? You learn to constantly scan. You learn to be on your toes. You learn to walk on eggshells if that's what is required. You learn to be under the radar, never the person who's the bullseye or the target, because you know what happens when you are the bullseye or the target. Let's reframe this though. Overthinking isn't a flaw. It's a skill that just never got turned off. And for a lot of us, we're used to that. We're used to the constant narration. I don't have that as much anymore, but I used to have that quite a bit. And strangely enough, I did Whole30 last April, I believe. And that's when it just kind of went away. I don't know what that was about, but that was kind of interesting. So let's talk about the connections to roles. This is what happens when you are the responsible one for everything. Let's talk about empowerment. You don't need to think more. You need to feel safe enough to think less. And that will likely be a process, a little bit at a time, moving the needle a little bit at a time. So in closing, if this is you, know that you're not alone. I can relate to you. I know many other people who watch this podcast can also relate to you. And it is a common thing when people struggle with trauma and self-doubt and things like that just because of their environments that they've dealt with growing up. If this is you, know that you're not alone and you're not too much. You're just carrying a lot. Thank you for tuning in to Recovering Perfectionist Mama, Grace in Progress. And I appreciate you tuning in. It means a lot to me. Each and every one of you, I just want to say thank you for your support. We have a great community. Feel free to check it out. An empathetic, compassionate, kind community. And I really appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And you'll tune in and see us again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.